I can tell you that this was my dream. My dream was when I was very young to, to explore the unknown. And it was, I mean, it is amazing. It is in the language of quantum physics, it is called theory of uncertainty, right? I did not know, of course, one day I'll be going to Russia, Moscow, and I'll be studying there. And I'll be fluent in Russian. I did not know that I will be coming to Canada as an immigrant, as a landed immigrant, or as an engineer, and then to the native land. That is so important. I think you and I probably we can attest this, we can confirm this, that if the people do not enjoy the beauty of indigenous communities, beauties of native land, like where we are, people do not understand what is Canada.
Why knowledge matters. Dr. Monjur Chowdhury, welcome on the show. Such a pleasure to have you back here now in the Cree nation of Nemaska in a beautiful evening. The sun is just setting and we just have a blast. But I have to say, I have to put on actually my sunglasses so we don't want to seem too strange, but the sun is pretty tough, right, Dr. Monjur?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, Yannick. Thank you, Yannick.
Monjur Chowdhury, today really we talk about your experience and a little bit of my experience here living in the Cree nation of Nemaska. But I think the most important part is that to contextualize a little bit is your experience, because you really lived all over the world. You grew up in Bangladesh, in Sylhet city,
Yes,
if I'm right.
you're right.
Then you got a full scholarship in the former Soviet Union in Moscow in 1981.
Yes.
You started your bachelor's up to Ph.D. in electrical engineering. You even experienced the dismantlement of the Soviet Union with Gorbachev, then Yeltsin, and ultimately you decided to come to Canada in 1998.
Yes.
And to contextualize a little bit why, because it was interesting actually for you also to stay in Russia, because there were a lot of opportunities also in terms of business, but you decided not to, and it really had an ethical reason.
Yeah, thank you very much, Yannick. Well, it is always a pleasure. And you being my colleague and friend, it is an immense pleasure all the time to discuss our past, present, and future. Yes, I was born in Bangladesh. And how nicely you have pronounced my native land, Sylhet. Yes, fantastic. Yes, Sylhet is you see, I'll come back to the connection with Sylhet and Nemaska. I find so many similarities in my village home or the remote communities where I grew up in my early age as a young boy. So yes, after finishing my high school, I was fortunate enough. You rightly mentioned that I got a scholarship to go to Soviet Union to study electrical engineering, and our country was just got the independence from former, I would say, we were at that time Pakistan. So East Pakistan became Bangladesh. It's a long story to talk, but the purpose of going to do the electrical engineering, like many of us with different engineering, medicine, physics, math, many areas of areas of the specialties we did. But I was really fortunate. I got the opportunity to study in Moscow, and Moscow Power Engineering Institute, one of the most
Really the MIT of Russia.
yes, Moscow Power Engineering Institute. You rightly mentioned this. So yes, and I was also in a way it was it was nice that I saw the rise of Soviet Union, I went to in 1981 when Sweden was doing very well in terms of uh, in the world, in terms of their connection and their ideology. All those things were working very well, but unfortunately, it did not. They could not sustain. And in 19, as you know, in 1989, uh, everything collapsed. And yeah, I was also doing my bachelor, master's, and PhD. But Soviet Union when collapsed, there of course there are lots of opportunities also in terms of uh, supporting this the the new formation of they try to do in different ways the kind of commonwealth of Soviet Russia and other provinces or republics, whatever you call it. Those were they're trying to connect with each other because they are so much interconnected, as you understand. Ukraine, Belarus, and of course Pre-Baltics and the Central Asian countries, as you know. So Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, and many others, Armenia and others. So I am definitely fortunate enough to enjoy the Soviet life, but then when it collapsed, it did not go well, and that the consequences we are seeing right now in the world. So I decided, of course, after finishing my PhD, I did a little bit of research, and also I did try to do the entrepreneurship because entrepreneurship was new concept in Soviet Russia, as you know. It was very interesting, but and I thought it was good that the Russian and Soviet people they needed the expertise or at least the exposure in terms of business model, especially the people, the students or former students or younger people who came from other countries, from Asia, no, the Latin Americas and Eastern European countries. They needed this experience. So we, like myself, many of us, we started to do some entrepreneurial activities there. But I found out it was not possible because that did not work well. And I just, with my wife, we decided to uh, to to get immigration to Canada, and we applied for immigration, and we are very lucky. We got immigration immediately, and I arrived to Canada in 1998, as I say, and I lived in Montreal 2 years. My two daughters were born there. Then we moved to Ottawa. Since then, we are living, we are permanently living in Ottawa. But as is mentioned, that today it is another life what we are enjoying, and I'm so happy that I'm joining with you at your, I would say it's a palace, and from where we see the sunset soon we'll be seeing. But it is so beautiful, and it is amazing that only 1.5 months back here it was minus 30 degrees centigrade maybe, and then today is more than 20, I guess, plus. So this is amazing that we are enjoying.
And I think this really also speaks to your personality because you are really a man who has an incredible ability to adjust. And you know, when I saw you at the shop one eating traditional food
Yeah.
from the Crees, you really enjoyed it. And for you, it's really a pleasure. And you couldn't really stop. In other words, you showed up every single evening, had throughout March, you had free food, a wonderful cook, Emma, Alice,
Yeah.
and Harriet cooked almost every day and served us outstanding food. But again, it's really special because you really lived in Ottawa. You really call now Ottawa home.
Yeah.
Of course, still the city is still your home. Your mother and
Yeah, my
some brothers are
relatives.
still living there. But you decided to come to the Cree Nation of Nemaska And now I really am wondering, how are you doing, and how is it to live in such a unique and beautiful, pristine place like the Cree Nation of Nemska?
Yeah, this is exactly that. You are absolutely right. The adjustment and practice and the adjustment does not come without passions. This is the one thing. So imagine in 1998, I was 19 years old, young young boy, young man, 19 years old, and 19 plus, and plus 35 degrees centigrade. I we we moved to Moscow, Russia,
Mhm.
Soviet Union's
Mhm.
capital city. I still remember 31st August, 1st September in the morning. It was, imagine, it started already cool, and it was not snowing yet, but the temperature was totally, it's a new experience for us, for me. And then imagine day after day it becomes snow, and first time in life I saw snow, and life itself totally different. Russian life, and there imagine there is no language except Russian. Communicating in English, of course, we speak English also, but there is no way that we
Mm.
communicate in English. So imagine without language,
Yeah.
we have to communicate,
Yeah.
and within few weeks we are able to communicate in Russian.
Absolutely. And you also did, did your undergrad, your master,
Yeah,
and your PhD all in Russian.
everything in Russian
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
So what is
Yeah.
amazing, and this need to be emphasized. I do not care who is talking about what is Russia. Many people are afraid of Russia. So this is not the.
It's not
I
the
was there
purpose. Yeah.
because not that because I studied in Russia and I'm advocating Russia's glory or Soviet Union glory, but the truth is the 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 power of human power there. What they did, the teachers,
Mhm.
how teacher can teach a student. We being a teacher,
Yeah.
being a teacher now,
Yeah.
we can feel that when we are teaching our students how to make them learnable, how to make them learn and human being. And imagine within 2 months we become almost comfortable to communicate in Russian without any other language.
Yeah.
So this is the great thing. First of all, of course, I was not a Russian language student. I did my engineering, so I had to prepare for myself for
Of
Russian. So
course.
first year we studied Russian language. It is a preparatory course, we call it. So imagine we did everything: math, science, chemistry, biology, physics. Well, biology I didn't do physics, chemistry, math, and of course Russian language itself
Mhm.
and history, all philosophy that we studied
Mhm.
in there. So and then eventually I ended up writing the dissertation when we did a PhD. I did my PhD,
Mhm.
and it is in electrical engineering. It is not a very easy subject either. So
Yeah.
so that was amazing. So by the way, I can also explain, because these days what we are experiencing is sad news, the war between what
Mhm.
is happening. I was in Kiev many times. I was in Lviv or the Kharkiv, all those cities in Ukraine. So many places
Mhm.
I traveled. Zaporozhye.
Yeah.
I did almost 3 months practicum there for the hydraulic power station as an power engineering student over there. So I'm fortunate to see it, but at the same time, it's sad what is happening now. It's very
Mhm.
sad, very sad. So I do not know, and I'm not going to go for politics right now, but it is a sad thing that our leadership of this world, they fail to resolve this.
Mhm.
This is
Mhm.
this is the irony,
Yeah.
and many innocent peoples
Yeah.
are suffering.
Yeah, I think this is so important. And ultimately, in any case, they're always the innocent, ordinary people who ultimately suffer.
Yeah.
And the political decision makers, they don't at all.
Yeah.
And when I talk to taxi drivers in Ottawa, for example, how they suffer.
Yeah.
Families, when the food prices just peaks like this, 20%, 10, 20, 30, 50% up. This is really, really sad to see. And but we don't talk about those
Yeah.
consequences
No.
it has. We just talk about this big talk and why we should do it, why we should punish one party or another. So this is really the sad news. But let's go back and really talk about like the beauty, because why we are here, it's really to share your passion for living and working here in the Cree
This is
Nation.
this is very important point. Yes. So I can tell you that this was my dream. My dream was when I was very young to explore the unknown, and it was. I mean, it is amazing. It is in the language of quantum physics. It is called theory of uncertainty, right? I did not know, of course, one day I'll be going to Russia, to Moscow, and I'll be studying there, and I'll be fluent in Russian. I did not know that I will be coming to Canada as an immigrant, as a landed immigrant, well, as an engineer, and then to the native land. That
Mm,
is so important. I
mm,
think you and I probably we can attest this, we can confirm this, that if the people do not enjoy the beauty of indigenous communities, beauties of native land, like where we are,
mm,
people do not understand what is Canada.
yeah,
Canada
yeah,
is the biggest country, well, second biggest country
yeah.
after Russia, by the way. I was in the biggest country before in Soviet Union. Even Russia is still bigger, and then Canada. So 1,200 kilometer away from
That's
Montreal.
a step back, Dr. Monjur.
Yeah,
That's from the biggest country to the second biggest.
yeah, yeah. So, but what I'm saying that there are two important things I'm telling you. I was always looking for authenticity. This morning I was reviewing the core values that want to I want to nurture. I want to continue the values that I have. I want to be careful that I do not get out from the direction that I have taken for my life. And one of the most important part, the authenticity. Look, it is exploring the authentic purpose of being on this earth. So, if we want to understand the authenticity, we should come where we are. This is one of the greatest thing I think you and I, at least, we are doing it. You are from Switzerland and I'm from Bangladesh. To contrast, you are from Europe, I'm from South Asia. But the beauty is, and what is I'm understanding over and over again, that the beginning is the same. I see. You see, you mentioned that when I go to Shaptan, or they call it the
Shop one,
Shaptan
exactly. Yeah.
is the place where community people gather together and get feast or
Hmm.
food together. I found so much similarities that we had back my community back when I was growing up as a young boy. When I was, when I was in elementary school, high school. I went to the town, but I'm talking about the similarity and the authenticity, the simplicity of human communication. See, the other beauty, what I see, of course, you cannot find any. Well, there are very few places in this world right now the free of pollution. There is no pollution here.
Hmm.
This morning, I'm telling you, this morning I around 8:15 or 8:30, I went out from home for morning walk. Believe me, I thought I am on either on the moon or on the Mars. Truly, because I didn't see anyone. It's quiet, no one there, no human being except myself. I'm sitting there, and I'm on the lake. I see the water. It's just calm. there's maybe some fishes going flying somewhere, and I just reminded me because we saw in the television, right? The when the cosmic the ship are going there, when on the Mars, the the equipments are there. When we see that, we do not see any. Only we see that one cosmic equipment there. This is what we see. But here, I saw almost the same thing. There is no human being here. I'm there, and beautiful, everything beautiful. Sun is rising and sunrise, and water, and this. So this is one thing. Second thing, and finally, I was seeing that someone is coming from far. One man is coming, and I started to say hello, good morning, and he was so happy that I'm talking to him. And we discussed. I didn't know him before, but we became friends immediately. The way how he communicated, he was happy to welcome. He's a native, native person here, and he was welcoming me. And I feel that we have found friendship. You know, so on the other hand, at the same time, what we are also feeling that we are learning every day from each of our colleagues in school. We are seeing the children who are the students who are teaching. They have their own way of lifestyle, and we are trying to learn from them, and to show how we came from other nations, other countries, and how to share each other. This is all about the beauty of Canadian diversity, we call it, right? So beauty is a interculturalism, right? It is not multicultural. It is interculturalism. It's active because everybody learn from each other. So again, the Nemaska has definitely another. I think it's a unique, as you mentioned, it is a unique beauty here because all of our houses where we live, it is surrounded by a lake, right? This it is a dream place to live, right? Dream, first of all. Secondly, our school is the main center here. We are almost this town is school centered, I will say. The parents, students, and we teachers all are thinking how to make this school a better place so that children, parents can get the best out of this school. And I think you and I and my other colleagues who are here, they all are committed to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, you just chose a shared actually just 2 days ago when you came back from goose break, and actually on Monday we start again school.
Yeah.
So we had goose break, and you really said like you were so happy and so excited to be back, and you really found almost like a second home here. Well, a third home, I would say,
Yeah.
because Silhouette City and then Ottawa, and now here, and it might be even tough for you actually to leave because you made so good friendship here too.
It's really I mentioned to you, and it is, I think I'm gifted. I got, this is my gift, that I enjoy friendship. I'm always hungry to have friendship, hungry for human being. This is what, and especially if human being, they are also looking for authentic, the reason of being on this world. So my core values, as I mentioned, is authenticity. Honesty is the best policy, right? Honesty and exploring the unknown. Exploration. This is the most important part for every human being. We need to give something to this world, whatever we have. And we, teachers, are lucky, because we are sharing our knowledge. We are sharing our experience with our younger generation. So therefore, I feel that the, the place that we have chosen, including yourself, to work, how many years we do not know, but it is the right place to do it. It's the right place to do it. This we can make a true success model that can be a role model for many other communities, many other countries. This is what my dream is. Maybe it is too much, but this is my dream because this is small, this is manageable,
Mm.
and we can by being together, putting our all efforts and 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 in our whatever experiences we have, if we share with our teachers, our colleagues, friends, and of course, giving it to our students, we can make a difference.
I mean, that's a really good point, and that's really basically succession, right? I mean, what they have done so far, it's really remarkable. I mean, this community moved about, a couple of decades ago here to Nemska, and what it has accomplished is truly remarkable. When you look at the infrastructure, like how everything is built, the school, the restaurants, the businesses, it's really lively, and it's such a beautiful place to be, live, and work, and really um, build something. And I think it's truly a privilege to live in this community because everything really is remarkable, let alone the infrastructure. In my view.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, of course, as I say, and it is also an extra point to add here. You see, what is, of course, 21st century. We must recognize that we cannot live the way how we lived 100 years back. This is impossible, right? We need technology.
Yeah, yeah. And I think really it was like the leadership here really does a really amazing job, with Chief Clarence Shawley and all the people involved. It's impressive. So, what do you think? How long will you stay here? Will you ever leave this community, Dr. Monjur?
I, as I say, I told you that I'm becoming more and more connected with the community because I find the authentic uh, beauty that I've been looking for, the people's inner love, and I became a very good friend of many of the community members here. And I even missed when I was in Ottawa. So of course my students also, I miss them. They're like my children.
Like your children,
Yeah.
exactly.
So this is the one thing, but at the same time, I do not forget about the outcome of our work, the goal that we have in mind. Goal is to make sure the younger people here, they can be not only a better human being, of course they want to be a better human being, at the same time we want to make them creative problem solvers, and their participation in the world, not only in Canada. Because this is what's missing, I guess, unfortunately. And this is possible because there are so many smart kids I see every day. They have so many, they're genius they have. But how to let them know that yes, they can do something amazing. And my goal, and I hope my colleagues, yourself, will join me to see that how we as a team connect them with the brilliant younger people of the world. And this is what I'm proud of because, uh, as you said, the network, the connection that we have, and the culture that we are bringing from other nations.
And learn from others, yeah.
Learn from others. We need to share with them and we need to learn from them also. This is what I think the best thing we need to do, and taking advantage of 21st century's amazing technology. This is unbelievable, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter where. Imagine I can connect them with my community. Almost this infrastructure is even not better than what we have here. Some of the infrastructure is way uh, difficult, way worse than here.
Well, I mean, here infrastructure is in my view top. If I compare them even to the south in Canada, Montreal, you know, I feel it's top here. I'm very impressed.
Yeah. So what I'm saying when I talk about infrastructure, I mean for communication for not online communication. I'm talking about the distance so far from other, I mean, big cities or towns. This is what I'm saying that all this road is so traveling for quicker travel from one place to others. This is what I mean by this. But what I'm saying that we need to take advantage of modern technology. So again, internet, that I am saying. So connecting with a place in Africa or or Asia, this is very much simple right now because they have so good infrastructure here. Because their infrastructure in terms of technology is very here. It's very high.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean by this. I mean by this. So, but I definitely want to hear also. What do you think? What is your experience? Well, tell me. I know you are a young man, but I would be happy to hear your experience also.
Well, I mean, for me, it's basically the same for you. It's truly an inspiration to live here and become part of this community. What is so unique, I find, is that if you put effort into it and if you are genuinely interested, they really embrace you, and that's what I find here so beautiful. I truly find like a second home. Of course, always where I grew up in Switzerland, where my parents are living, that's always my paradise, obviously. But secondly, now I really feel like it's like almost like my family, a second home. You go and you skate, inline skating, or you walk, and people greet you. The kids are there. The kids are funny. They want to talk. They ask questions. They are so active. I find this so lively, and oftentimes they are outside, really enjoying, the outdoors, which I also did when I was young, and to me always it's very special because this was always a dream. So let's get this straight. When I was, and now of course, now it's not appropriate anymore, but for us, the Indians, like now the indigenous people, the First Nations here in this context, specifically the Cree, they were always the heroes, in my upbringing. So we were always imitating them, and we were always playing Indians against cowboys, and we were always the Indians because it's such a unique, culture, and that's they were my superheroes. Today you have like a Superman or I don't know Batman, and to me, the Crees, they were my superheroes. So for me, it's really a living dream, and it's 100% as I always envisioned it. I always had this notion, kind of how they are. And one lady, she's actually also a Cree when I was in Ottawa, and it was a conference, I think, peace and learning, and she said something very powerful. She said, "The longest journey is from your mind to your heart."
Yes.
And this is so true. And I think it's Lisa, it's her first name, but I can't recall her last name. I'm actually a friend on Facebook, so I will send actually her and so to confirm. But yeah, and it's true, and I simply love it. It's so pristine, the nature, the air, the people, the infrastructure, and yeah, of course, the last 2 months between March and April, they were kind of hard. It gets long, it's tough when it still gets minus 15, minus 20 degrees, and there's still like a pile of snow. That's of course it is a challenge. It's not easy, but overall, it's simply a blessing. I'm so grateful to all people really involved here in the community, including the school, you know, our friendships we have in the school, whether it's with the teachers from the south or native born. Yeah, it's truly a blessing. So, and that's what I always say to my friends in the south. I always tell them, you gotta come here, because here you can learn something so authentic that you will never ever learn in another context. It's simply not possible. And if you want to learn something about indigenous history and about indigenous culture, that's the place. There's no better way to learn or get immersed. It's so profound, and people are so genuine. If you're genuine and you want to learn, that is all it is. Yeah.
Thank you. I think, Yannick, I should, at the end, I want to tell you that you are doing an amazing job also. And you are the man who invited me to come to this community. So I'm really grateful to you. And I'm confident we have done the right decision. But now we want to challenge ourselves that we see some tangible outcome from our effort, that we want to see our children here, they are happy, and we are starting our exam session, you know, so we need to make sure that kids are motivated, they enjoy, you know. It's not easy, I know. But
yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's always like high school. It's always tough, right?
Yeah.
It's whether here or in the south.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, I think young people today have the hardest task. You know, we didn't have to grapple with all this complexity when it comes to technology, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we were playing in the woods. So that's why I didn't had any, you know, mental health issues. I think because I was all the time outside and we were playing, whether soccer, hockey, or just, you know, as I said, Indian and cowboys.
Yeah, so this is why our job will be finding out a balance, an optimum path, so that our children, our students, and ourselves, we teachers, we achieve our goal. Our goal is to see them happy. Our goal is to make them ready for their future, to make this world a better place. And I'm sure if we are strict with our goal, we'll achieve it.
Dr. Monjur Chowdhury, thank you so much for coming again. It's always a pleasure, and you know, I'm so fortunate to have you as a friend and to can enjoy those kind of conversations almost you know, on a weekly basis.
Same here, man. It is the dream. Dream in realizing. Dream is getting true. This is true. Thank you.
Dr. Monjur Chowdhury. That's why knowledge matters.
I agree. Knowledge matters, yes. Yeah, thank you.
And that's why knowledge matters.